let's take a look at goals and outcomes. Very important for us to have goals. Human beings actually cannot live without goals. We tend to do suicide and things like that if we do not perceive a bright horizon. But what are the payoffs? What is actually the compensation for moving in this direction? And by the way, I'm going into fairly deep philosophical explanation behind the compensation. I know a lot of you want to get right into the numbers, into the mechanics. However, what we have found, and the reason that really any master teacher would go into the deep philosophical explanations behind any important topic, is that it creates roots. That is, when the storm comes, the tree remains. It was not washed away. Why? Because you understand, you get the cause and effect impact of why this works, why this makes sense, why this aligns with reality. And I'll just say this, and this is an important philosophical step, or anyone that's really committed to success. Whenever you have a big initiative, list all the reasons you can think of for why this makes sense. Because you will have gray days, you will have soggy days, you will have hurricanes, you will have forest fires, you'll have sickness. And you won't feel so hot that day. You won't feel like getting out of bed and making it happen in the USA. And you look at that written list, and that reminds you this is worth doing. The other day, I called Jason. I had one of those days, and it can happen anytime. And Jason was in great form and said, Andrew, everything's fine. We're working this. Well, that did tremendous things for my spirit. So, understanding why you were doing something, getting deep about it, getting profound about it, is of immense value. So let's take a look at these goals, the compensation from doing compensation. Increased quality. Your CAP scores will go up to 5 stars. They will go as high as possible in a relatively short period of time. Okay? Next, documentation in terms of quality of the documentation and the timeliness will increase overnight within one payroll run. If you got people that aren't documented at the bedside, if you got folks that's late, they're using no words and things that are disallowed in your organization in the documentation, especially in your notes and all that, solved in one payroll period. And again, we've seen this in multiple places. I mean, we've seen it in this one, but we've seen it in other compensation implementations as well. By the way, why is that important? Well, we cannot have any legitimate claim of being an interdisciplinary team, working together, if we don't have a commonized form of communication. We all need this reference. So we do it because we love our patients and families. That's why we document. And the second reason is we happen to get paid this way, compensated. So documentation, just secure that overnight. Is that not a big win? Yes, okay. There's millions of dollars in the bank right there. Next, patient-family experience itself, the patient share, as we have here. Your quality of visits increases. But this is, I'll just say this is where you want to marry the perfect visit with this. And I would be doing both. I would be taking a look at your labs and saying how effectively you're using your labs. Are you testing people? Are you giving people the 3 written tests before you ever start to videotape them? How serious are you about your perfect visits? So That is part of it. So quality is all wrapped up in the 4-day work week because it's about time. Again, the elimination of screw-ups, service failures, and all that. Okay, what else happens? Well, you have increased productivity inherently. And you don't even have to make a big announcement that, hey, this is going to increase productivity. It just happens. Again, I would message that we're not doing this to try to save money here. We're not doing this really to try to find, huge economic advantages. We're trying to reward people richly for quality work. And we want a fair system. Right? A fair system. Next, it increases the attractiveness of the organization. Okay. So far, everyone that we've seen put this kind of system in doesn't have much problem finding clinicians. Once the word gets out there, people look at their employment situation and go, I could be getting paid for 5 days, working 4 days. That's a Jason slogan here. Gotta give credit where it's due. So you become a much more attractive alternative to the world that's not offering this. Okay, that's huge, right? Because how many people are saying, oh, there's a nurse, there's all this weenieism. There's a nursing shortage. Oh, this is happening. Oh, the hospitals are giving sign-on bonuses. And it's just like, folks, let's get the mirror out and let's look at how impressive we are as an organization. Let's look at our own impressiveness. Why would anybody want to work for you or me? And can we pay them well? Yeah, we can pay them. Can we give them a better life? Another form of compensation? Yeah. So we have to become attractive if we expect to attract people. Like that's so duh. But next, we increase the retention of top talent. Just like when we were doing this, we roll out in 7 sites, and people that put in their resignations or requested, I want to go part-time now, suddenly it's like, hey, can I take that back? That's amazing. Okay, accountability is increased via it's structure. I'll just say this, and Jason is pointing this out, that this increases the accountability, and it's a structural method of doing this. And you end up with a much more mature workforce of true professionals. People that can organize their day, since we're not really focused on time or when things are being done. But you end up making this much more mature workforce where the bitch factor goes down, people own their work. They're doing a great visit, so they're setting up their fellow clinicians for success. And there's something great about that. Since accountability has so much to do with life and all change or positive change we want to make comes from accountability, just like AA, one of the most transformative organizations ever. Starts out with what? I am an alcoholic. The admission, rather than saying, well, I'm predisposed biologically to, or my dad paddled me once or whatever. Okay, let's keep going. The payoffs. It makes management easier. Less screw-ups, less service failures, easier to manage. It enables an organization to flatten. You get your quality at a certain level, and you can flatten your indirects. I'm going to show you real-life examples of the hospice I am currently the CFO for, and we're at 26%. That's total indirects, whereas a typical organization is at 37, 10 points under. And this is the second time we've done that at this organization, because I've had a couple runs at it. Okay, Yeah, you can have increased scope of your team sizes for clinical leaders, and you just don't need as many FTEs. Next, you can have increased census. As your quality goes up, it just makes it easier you have something to market, first of all. Hey, you're an impressive organization. Census goes up because you're marketing a quality service or product. And then with your highly incentivized admissions, again, we use same-day admissions as our thing. And, there it is. Census will rocket up. We've added 100, for example, 100 patients a day in a pretty short period of time. And it continues. I think we'll probably add another 100 for the end of the year. Okay, additional outcomes. Your EMR practices will radically improve. You're going to find out how you're misusing your system. What is the correct way to use your system? If you've clunked up it with too many activity codes, perhaps consider using an economy of activity codes. Your EMR is going to get better, which is going to lead you to better data, more precise data to manage the organization. These are things that people don't think about. Your measurements, again, become more precise. Non-authorized devices, for example, can be discovered, which could cost you a lot, HIPAA violations and all that. And this will solve problems or issues you didn't even know you had. Okay, enough of that. So we got a pretty good list here. I would file that one away as to why we're doing this. Because all of you listening to this are going to have to do a sales job to other people to get the idea of this direction, which everybody fears, to where they say, let's do this.